Alright folks, welcome back to another video. This time we're back on the 68. We are completely redoing the bed on it. New wood, cleaning all the metal up, repainting it, everything. So y'all come along and see what happens. You can see I've done got it turned around here in the building. We're going to start taking all this old wood off and rebuilding this old bed and cleaning it up. It's pretty rough. I mean, first thing we got to do is get all this trash and toolbox. We got to see what's in that toolbox. There may be some good stuff in there, but we'll get all this cleaned out. And right up here you can sort of see what we're dealing with. Looks like I don't know, they might have used 1x. I thought they used 2x6s, but they might have just used 1x. But you got these slats in here to kind of space everything, and it gives the board a place to rest. So, but we'll put a new floor in it and build new sides and a new headboard. And I'm probably going to add a tailgate. It's got stake pockets, but we may do it a little different. I don't know, we'll see. And yeah, so let's get to digging into all this trash. Fun. Alright, now that we've got all the trash out of it, good night, that was a lot of stuff. Now we can sort of see more of the condition. And it ain't going to take much to get this old wood out of here. And not at all. Just, these beams are, that beam's probably okay, I think. That That may be the only wood one in it. No, I think there's one back here. Yeah, there's one right back here, but maybe they'll be okay. So now it's time to start knocking all this wood out. Well, we're in it now. Got the sides, the headboard off. They're over here. Got all this vacuumed up, which I'll probably run a vacuum over this maybe a couple more times. Just cleaned it up. These slats are just laying in there, just sort of to space the boards. So I don't know if I'll go back with them. It'd make it easier, but we may take them out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And it's a mess. And basically, if you was going to really work this bed, you know, with that ram down there and, you know, actually use it as a dump, the whole structure would have to be redone, because it's bad, rotted out. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Which the good thing is it's got its own frame right there, because the truck frame is right there, and then this sets up above it. So be very easy to rebuild it, but I doubt this thing is going to haul anything very heavy. So it'd be good to haul trash off and pull up to the landfill and just dump it. But I'll keep chipping away at it, and we'll see what happens. Next thing to do is cut all the carriage bolts out of it, and it'll be fun. Great. Well then, I've got the bed completely stripped. So got the slats out here. I just run over them with a flat disc and cleaned what you're going to see up. As bad a shape as this bed's in, yeah, you can take a time wire wheel all these and make them right nice and pretty, but it's just a little toy work truck, whatever. So I believe it'll be fine. And then I'll go hit the sides and get them, basically get all the flaky stuff off, and then we'll be ready for some paint. Y'all hang in there. Let's see how this turns out. Okay, I've got it smoothed down enough to paint it and everything. I've got all the loose stuff. I never did notice this before, but look right here. F-O-R-D. I don't know if this was just a factory option flatbed and they made the lift apparatus and mounted it to it, or if this was a factory option dump. I'm not quite sure, because some of it's pretty janky, the fabric cobbling on it, but it looks like this was at least a factory Ford flatbed. So that's pretty cool. I'll have to do some research on that and see if figure something out about that. But I thought that's pretty cool. I hadn't really paid attention to it this whole time, and then when I got to sanding around it, I was like, wait a minute, there's letters here. So well, ain't that just nifty. Alright, I got a little carried away last night. I went ahead and put the first coat of black on the frame, so I got some more cans here, and we'll start getting it painted and all that good stuff, and you can really see the letters stand out now. So, best I can tell, it's a factory Ford flatbed, and then they made the frame and all that for the dump part and added all that. So, still pretty cool. So, I'll get it set up and we'll get to painting. All right. That's 3 coats of black on all this, and I just used the Rust-Oleum black. I think it turned out pretty good. And I had some gray paint laying around. Just went ahead and sprayed that bumper. Clean it up a little bit. But I think that turned out right nice. You know, it's good enough for what we're doing. So, let all this dry, and then we'll start putting new wood in and getting all that done. Alright, had to put the 250 to work today. We got us some lumber. We'll start getting this unloaded and getting everything measured out. Get us some boards in here, and hopefully by the end of the day we'll at least have it set in here. I don't know if we'll have it bolted, but we'll see what happens. Alright, well, there's the deck, I guess you call it. And you can see it don't come all the way out here, and we have no metal strips in between. And the reason for that is the old boards, I believe, were cut to 7.5, and now modern lumber is 7.25, even though this is considered a 2x8. Go figure. So I wasn't going to be able to keep the strips in here and make this work. There wasn't enough strips to space everything out. So executive decision, we're going to put just a solid wood deck. And one thing we'll do is take probably 3 of these 2x8s and cut them the width on the inside of this frame, because that way you don't have to go through and re-drill all these holes, 2 per board, all that. Cut a board, go up under here, that'll be under this lip right here, and then you'll sandwich the boards on this lip, essentially. So, and that will make it a lot easier to remove in the future. You won't have no bolts to deal with, nothing like that. You know, this is just a cheap rebuild. We're building this as cheap as possible. Just what lumber I've already got, there's $150 worth of lumber. So I'll do that, and what we'll do is, because the way these are made, your sideboards, this is where your uprights will go, okay? Then your sideboards will run in here. So we'll get this centered up, and then that way when you set your sideboards in, it'll sit down on top of your edge board, and it'll all be covered. It'll look really good when you look inside of it. So that's what we've got to deal with, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. I really wanted to use I wanted to use the strips, but when I figured out I had to go to 2x8s, the strips was going to be setting like this much lower than the board. So if you had people riding back here or something like that, it wouldn't be that comfortable. And if you was walking back here, it would kind of give you a trip hazard. So I think this is going to be a lot better. And by doing it that way with the crossboards underneath, you're not going to have the hardware, so that'll save some money. You know, we'll have to buy some decking screws or something like that, but I think it'll be all right. So I'm gonna keep chipping away at it, and we'll see what happens. All right, before I quit last night, I got all the pieces cut. These long pieces here are the floorboards, I guess you call them, and then all this over here is the pieces for the sideboards and everything, and all these are pieces for the uprights. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to take all the uprights and we're going to round the top sides, and we've got to notch the bottom so that it'll fit in the stake pockets. So we'll do that. All of the sideboards, the edges are going to get rounded on them, so I've got to go through and do all of them. And we're not going to round the edges on the floorboards. Those will stay like they are, but now we've just got to round all this and notch and fit and all the time consuming stuff. So let's get after it. Okay, now you can see what I'm thinking here. We've got to notch this out. This here and this here will be gone, and then we'll round the edges right there, and then that way that'll set right down in there and look pretty good. I think it'll work. Well, there we go. There's number one. Not too bad. And I rough cut it with the circular saw, and then take this grinder, and I've got a 36 grit flap wheel on there, and then just finalize the shape. 36 might be a little much because I sort of gapped it right there, but I believe that'll work. So now I'll take this, which I went ahead and done all that, marked the corners, but now we'll use this as a template and match up all the rest. There we go. All right, folks, we've got everything rounded off and notched, and I think that looks pretty good. And I done the same thing on the boards over here. Rounded them off. Just like I said, use a grinder with a 36 grit flap disc. And I took this 2-inch hole saw and made my radius, marked it out and roughed it in. So now we're going to it's a stain and a protecting all at the same time, but it's not your traditional way of doing it. You know, stain, it's real expensive, and you know, this is just cheap yellow pine that you can get any hardware store. It's not nothing special. So what we're going to use is motor oil, used motor oil, and I've done it before with knife handles and other stuff, and we'll put a good healthy coat on there, and then if not tonight, first thing in the morning, we'll get everything put together and wrap this project up. So y'all hang around and I'll show you how to take old motor oil and make this look halfway decent and protect it. All right, like I said, all we're using is burnt motor oil, and we'll put 3 coats on it, and each coat, put it on, let it set for probably 10 minutes, and then wipe off the excess. We'll do that 3 times, and then that'll probably be all we do on the bottom, and then on the top we'll do the same, and then we'll put one final coat, and I'll probably let it set overnight and let it really soak in, and then come back in the morning, wipe everything off. Should be good to go. All right, well, that gives you an idea of how to do it. So I'm gonna continue on this, and I'll pick you back up when made some decent headway. Well, I kind of got carried away again and didn't pick up the camera, but it's together. I like it. I'll explain that in a minute, but I believe I like the sides, and I didn't really want full sides. I can always go back and make full sides if I want to, but I've always liked the step look. So, and I debated on either stopping here or going to here, and because of material, I just went here. Maybe I should have went to here. It would have looked a little better, but I don't know. I don't think it looks too awful bad. And I mean, I know you say that the boards ain't completely flat, and that's just what you deal with when you go to a place like Lowe's, or, well, any of them big stores like that. They don't have a great selection. You just kind of gotta pick and choose, and that's what we ended up with. So, but this is a whole lot sturdier than what come off here, because remember, we had 1x8s on here before. Now we've got 2x8s, so we've got double the thickness. But I'm digging it. Now, what happened here was, after I had started staining these and everything, I basically didn't have the room to do everything, and it was going to take too much time. So what we're going to do is just do it on the truck. I didn't really want to, but we're going to. So that's why some of these are, you know, that's why these are different than the rest of them, but it'll be all right. So I think I may call it a night, or I may put a coat on here. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah, I like it. Well, good morning, folks. It's the next morning. I stayed a little late there last night and got everything oiled down. I think that looks pretty darn good. And you can see there's still some spots where it's standing. I'll wipe them down and get that excess off there, but it's got a little oily texture to it, but not much. But I think that's gonna work really good. Like I said, I've done this before on knife handles and small stuff like that. I've never done it on a complete bed, but I like it. And the good thing about this, you can always, if it starts to lighten up and dry out and everything, all you gotta do is put another coat of oil on it. And I think on this whole bed, I used maybe 1.5 quarts. So there you go. But that's a cheap and easy way to do a flatbed, and compared to what we started with, this thing looks killer. So I really like it. And you know, I said it sort of got an oily residue to it right now, but it's not bad. And the longer it sits outside, I mean, this has been about 12 hours. It's set about 12 hours. It's already drying up, so a week from now it'll be perfect. You'll be able to stand on it, not slip, everything. So, and like I said, the easeability, you just go back and add another coat, and we may do that in a few days or a week or something. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I like it. So I appreciate you coming along on this video, and I think it's turned out great. Next couple videos, 1 or 2 videos, we're going to focus on washing it and getting the paint cleaned up, and may even get this thing dumping. So we'll see what we can do on that. So be sure to come back and watch the next video. Till then, we'll see you next time.